Oh, it's not. All right. All right. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Hope you're having a great Friday. Thanks for being here. All right. All right. Can you change timing for next time? Sure, I'd like to try that. Although I gotta be honest, I still have a big issues with my voice in that my voice doesn't really work in the morning. For some reason, when I wake up, my voice is all messed up. I gotta go to the gym, walk my dogs, do something in order for my voice to work. So yeah, for me, live streaming in the morning doesn't quite work. So that's why I always do it around this time, which is pretty much afternoon around here. So right now it's 4:45 p.m. around here. So yeah, that's I'd like to try it out. Should be a fun, interesting experiment. Trying out doing a live stream as soon as I wake up, maybe about 6 a.m. That that could be fun. But yeah, I'm not sure my voice would work for that. Started learning game dev this year, and I couldn't have made progress I've made without your videos. Oh, that's awesome! Thank you. Hey, I'm glad my videos have helped you. Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats and keep on learning. All right. Okay, so basically I got a little bit of work to do, so I figured I might as well do some work on the live stream. So I've got my companion project for my C# course, and I've got a bunch of exercises, and there are a bunch that are still missing the hint text and the completed text. So that's basically the text that shows up when you need a hint with some kind of exercise, and then the text that shows up when you finally complete it. So yep, gotta write a bunch of this, so that's pretty much what I'm going to do, while also trying to answer some of your questions in chat as soon as I can. So yep, that's pretty much the goal here. All right. Make a tutorial on an attachment system similar to Escape from Tarkov. I'm not sure if there's anything specific to Escape from Tarkov, but I did make a weapon attachment system. So if you want, you can go and look at this one. You can even download the project files and just use this one as is. So I assume that, basically lets you define multiple parts and then connect multiple parts together in specific points. So yeah, if you have the right asset pack with all the assets all perfectly prepared, it's actually relatively simple to make a system like that. And if you have enough parts for your weapons, you can actually get quite a lot of variety. So that's actually something really awesome if you have the assets to do it. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know if Escape from Tarkov has something specific, but if not, then yeah, for the basics, that should probably work. Think about making a video on procedural generating. One thing that I've always wanted to research, I keep forgetting the name. What's it called? The thing where it falls down, it collapses into, oh God, what do you call it? Wave function collapse. That's it. That's the one method that I've seen about and studied about it a little bit, but I'd like to really research it probably because it seems it's something really simple, but also really awesome. Like you define a bunch of basic rules and basically just collapses each node into one specific state. And when you do that to the entire grid, to the entire world, it generates something really awesome. So yeah, that is definitely a topic that has been on my to-do list for a very long time. So yeah, hopefully one day, hopefully. Make a course on Real Engine. No, really. The reason why I can make courses teaching knowledge that I know is because it's knowledge that I do know, because I've been using Unity for over 10 years. I've made 9 games with it, so it's something that I'm very confident with my own knowledge, so that is why I feel confident enough to teach you. Whereas in Real, I've never used Unreal, so yeah, I'm definitely not the right person to teach about that. Okay, so let me try doing this. So let me first do the exercise and then write the hint, write the completed text, and yep. So on this one, first of all, I'm on lecture number 5 on the intermediate. This is the lecture on properties. Oh, do I have an exercise open? Yeah, probably do. It's probably not that one. Oh yeah, he was still checking the other one. Okay. Want to ask, do you think it's possible to create a game similar to Wipeout? Yes. I haven't played it, but isn't that the boat game? If so, then you could even just start from the Unity boat attack demo. So yeah, I mean, Unity made this demo quite a long time ago, which I believe is pretty close to that game. So yep, you can definitely just take this project as a base, build upon it, and build something like that. So you got a bunch of boats, a bunch of customization. This project also has that really nice water shader. So yeah, for making a game like that, this would be a really great starting point. Anti-gravity wipeout. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but gravity gun, that's fun. I'd actually like to make that. That would be a fun little prototype mechanic. It would be pretty fun to do. Okay, so let me try to. So on this exercise, the goal is create a simple auto-implement property, string player name. Okay, so here the goal is to define that. So that is pretty simple. So let's go public. Actually don't remember if at this point, oh yeah, this is on the intermediate, so I have thought about public and private. Okay, so this meant to return string and call player name, then has a get and a set. Yep, that's it. That's the property, just like that. Love kitchen cows. Oh, that's awesome. So much for making. All right, yeah. Thanks so much for going through it. I hope you learned a lot from it. That was a fun one to work on. So looking for properties, found the property. Property is auto implemented, so success. All right, so yeah, this exercise is actually quite simple. So let me go up there, and now I just got to pretty much write the hint text. Okay, so the hint. Remember the syntax for how an auto-implemented property is made, how it has no specific code for the get and the set. So basically, this is the hint that shows up when you go through an exercise and you click on show hint. Basically, it shows up that one. Click on show solution, it shows that one. Click on apply solution, and it applies that solution. So yep. That's pretty much it. So basically just got to write a ton of this text for a ton of the things. What is your favorite course you've made? Wow, that's a really tricky question, I have to say. I mean, right now my latest one, C# course, I really love this one, but I love this one specifically because it's all programming. So it's really nice for that. But at the same time, I also really love the Kitchen Chaos course. I love how many people that course has helped. I mean, that is by far the most successful video on my channel. So I really love how that course reached so many people, and the comments have all been super positive. Then I also really love my turn-based strategy course. That one was also really awesome. I love games like XCOM, so being able to build that one from scratch, step by step, that was really awesome. That was really cool. So yeah, sorry, that's kind of a tough question to to answer because I love many of the courses that I've made for many different reasons between them. So yeah, I can't really pick a favorite one. Okay, so. Remember the syntax for how an auto-implemented property is made? Yep, that's it. No specific code. Completed. So in this exercise, you'll learn how to implement a implemented property. How to define is it A or N? I never know that, but yeah. Define auto-implemented property. This is a great way when you don't need any specific logic, specific custom logic. So basically auto-implemented properties, really awesome, really easy. You just define the get and the set, and yep, pretty much that works. Although honestly, for me personally, I normally do, the only thing that I use this for is when I'm trying to make the singleton pattern. So I just define some kind of instance with a public get and a private set. That's pretty much the only time in which I use properties. This is actually really interesting topic because I know a lot of people like to use them quite a lot, but me personally, I never like how the fact that properties look like variables but acting like functions. That's pretty much it. How it simultaneously stores data, although in reality it doesn't. This one is just auto-implemented, but it kind of stores data and at the same time runs some logic in order to get and set that data. So for me, I find that needlessly confusing. So that is why personally I prefer having just basic fields, just basic variables, and then having get and set functions. I prefer that quite a bit more. So yeah, I'd use private set over protected because usually I only want to. If I'm doing some kind of singleton instance, for that, usually I want this class. I don't want any extended class to be able to assign this. I only want this one to set itself. So yeah, usually for that, just go with private instead of protected. Huge fan of your channel. Nice. I'm making a course about procedural animation in Unity. Do you have any advice about how to do a good course because I'm new to this? You mean how to make a course? I mean, my best advice is do it more than once. That's pretty much the best advice. Basically, for all the courses that I've made, what you see in the final video is basically after I've done the course about 3 times. So the first time I first do a prototype, just doing it by myself, no camera, no recording, no nothing. Just do it by myself in order to figure out what is the rough structure of what I'm trying to build. So that's the first time, just a quick and dirty prototype, getting all the elements. Then the second time, I try to start writing the actual course script and try to write, okay, step by step, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And then after that, after I've written the entire script, then I go through the course a second time. At that second time, I'm trying to follow step by step, and at the same time correcting all the steps in the script text. And at the same time, after I finish that one, then the third time, that is the actual time in which I finally press the record button, start recording things, and pretty much everything. So yeah, basically every course of mine that you see, what you see in the final video is basically at least the third time that I'm going through the entire thing. So yeah, that is my best advice. Don't assume that the first thing you record is going to be perfect, because chances are it's really not going to be. So yeah, just get into the habit of doing it multiple times. And oh crap, I shouldn't do this. And yeah, get in the habit of doing it multiple times, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Okay, so let me just, all right, so yeah, so this one is working, it's done, completed, so the hint is done. Let's complete the exercise and move on to the next one. Okay, and also got a nice cup of tea instead of my usual water. Just trying to see if it helps my voice, because for me, my voice always gets messed up after about 1 hour. So let's see if this one helps on this live stream. So far, I'm feeling pretty good. I am banana, okay. All right, nice comment. Okay, so lecture on properties. What's the next one? Where am I? Properties, multi-dimensional arrays. That's a fun thing. Okay, so on this one, the goal is define and create a 2D array. So define a 2D array of ints with 3 of length on the first dimension and 4 in the second dimension. Then set the value on index 02 to 56. Return the array from the function. Okay, let's do that one. Well, from Portugal. Hey, nice. Hey, thanks for being here. Think for a free course? Yeah, that's cool. Tutorial on making a farming game like Farmville. Actually, I don't remember. Did I make the... Because I did do a quick farming game once. Yeah, on this one, when there was a really awesome Humble Bundle and I made some. So if you want to see the rough idea for how I would build it, that's it. But yeah, farming game is actually something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. So that's the RTS game, the farming game. Yeah, basically I would love to make basically a complete tutorial / mini course on how to make a game kind of like this. It's actually relatively simple. I mean, if you know about interactions, so for example, if you watch my NPC Interact video, if you watch that, with a little bit of setup, you can build something pretty much similar to this. It's actually not that difficult. You just make a little grid, set it up on the floor, then track how to interact, how to get the mouse position in order to find the point in the grid. Then you place some kind of prefab. That prefab has some basic logic in order for the vegetable to grow and so on. So yeah, that is actually, I don't know, for some reason, personally, I like farming games. I think they're pretty fun. So yeah, I'd love to do a more detailed tutorial on making something like this. That would be interesting. So your daily routine video, and got the question, what helps you stay motivated? Have you limited yourself to news and political events? Sort of. I don't know. I don't necessarily pay too much attention, but I'm not sure those two things are linked. At least not in my case. I don't know. I mean, staying motivated. It's always, for me, when it comes to motivation, the phrase that always jumps to mind is self-discipline over motivation. That's pretty much it. Because motivation, I find it comes and goes. It's not really reliable to rely on that. So basically for me, I try not to rely on that. I try to have a list of things that I got to do and then just try to do them one by one, going through them like that. So basically, instead of relying on feeling like because I mean, to be honest, doing live streams, this is something that is still very unnatural to me. So right now I am pretty much forcing myself to be here doing this live stream. And the reason why I'm forcing myself is because, well, I want to do it. I want to be able to do it. So yeah, I got to do it. Whether I feel like it or not, I'm trying to force myself to try to gain this skill. So that's kind of it. So yeah, in general, I mean, do something you like, and that way it becomes a little bit easier to do it. And then secondly, just go do it. Just go do it. I mean, it sounds overly simplistic. I wish I had some better, more practical, actionable advice, but yeah, it's really, That's the best I've got. Okay, so let's do this one. So define and create an array with size 3, 4. Did I mention the type of the array? Probably not, but say with number 56. So let's do an int array. This is meant to be a two-dimensional array. So 2D, no, I can't do int array 2D equals a new int array, and it's meant to have size 3 and 4. And then on index 0 and 2, it is meant to have the number 56. And then let's return the int array 2D. Okay, love from India. Hey, nice, thanks for being here. Okay, so that should be the exercise. So basically just defining an array of ints with 3, 4, so just a basic multidimensional array. Let's run the test and see if it is working. So it's calling it, checking the first dimension, it is correct. Second one, it is correct. Checking the value, it is correct, so everything is correct. Okay, so that's the exercise. Now let's write the hint and the completed one. So where's this one? That's on lecture 206. So that's this one right here, define a 2D array. Okay, so remember the difference between multi-dimensional arrays and arrays of arrays. Create a 2D multi-dimensional array with the correct dimension properties, then access the index like in a normal array and set the new value. So that should be a nice hint. Basically, the usual problem that people have with multi-dimensional arrays is the fact that it's different between making a 2D array versus an array of arrays. So that is always something that has to be done differently. And then complete the text. Here you'll learn how to define a multi-dimensional array. This is a really useful data type. When you have something like a grid you want to represent. And remember how you can have as many dimensions as you want. All right, so over here, show the hint. Yep, remember the difference between multidimensional and arrays of arrays, and yep, that should work. Okay, nice. So let's go complete the exercise. That's cool. Can I make a tutorial about a reload animation? I'm really not the best channel to talk about animation because I am not an animator. Animator and programmer, those are two completely different things. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of nice channels on YouTube teaching about animation, probably with Blender. If you find for Blender animation tutorial, I'm sure you'll find a ton of stuff. So yeah, then when it comes to Unity, the things are actually the logic is pretty simple. You just define some kind of trigger in order to play the animation to go from idle into reload. Just go into that one. When the reload animation finishes, go back into the idle animation. So yeah, in terms of logic, implementing a reload animation is pretty simple. The complexity is really just actually making the animation. So you need to be an animator for that. And I am not the right person to teach that. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Lecture on nested loops, and it's all about write a basic nested loop. So write a basic nested loop where the outer loop runs 3 times and the inner loop runs 2 times. Call the exercise validate function and pass in the current I and j for every iteration of the inner loop. Okay, so simple. There's no mention of the type. Okay, so like that should be simple. Is there any chance your recording course coming to Udemy anytime? Nope, not really, because Udemy has some very strict rules about courses with free versions. So for example, right now I publish the beginner version for free, and that one is about 4 hours, whereas Udemy limits it to about an hour, 2 hours, something like that. So nope, I'm not allowed to do that. Udemy really does not like things that are both paid and free at the same time. So nope, sorry, that's not a possibility. Okay, so let's write the loops. The outer loop should run 3 times and the inner loop should run 2 times. So for int I equals, let's go, what is it, 3 times, I plus plus. And for int j under, is it 2 times, j plus plus. And then inside, call the exercise validate function, passing in I and j. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So let's see. Hope for a small challenge. I'm already doing a challenge, but sure. Uh, Sleeping time, is it? I guess that's a fun thing about different time zones. It's for me right now it's afternoon, but yeah, on a different part of the world, I'm sure it's sleeping time. Okay, so yeah, waiting for the function call. It got all the indexes, iteration 6, 3, 2, yep. So exercise completed successfully. So basically this one is on teaching all about nested loops and how the loop time, so this one is on 207, so let me find over here, exercise 207, write the nested loop. Okay, so for a hint, you can use any loop type, but for this case, a for loop is probably the simplest. Be careful about how many times you run the outer and inner loops. Yep, that's pretty much it. This one is pretty simple about how to do that. So in this exercise, you'll learn how to make a nested loop, a loop within another loop. And is this one before the, yep, okay, so this is especially useful when working with 2D arrays or arrays of arrays, so you can cycle through every single element. Yep, nested loops, nice. Try the new Unity 6000. It's kind of funny how they define that, how they said the version is version 6000, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be fun in, let's say, 40 years when they get to Unity version 10. So it's going to be version 10,000. That's going to be funny. But yeah, I guess they have a bunch of logic where it assumes that the version number has to have 3 or 4 digits. So that's why they went to 6,000 instead of just 6. So that is going to be, it's going to be an interesting thing later on this year when they finally upgrade the version to Unity 6. And yeah, that should be fun. I have a Goku mug. Yeah, I do. It's really nice. Where's my camera? Hey, it's pretty cool. Got this one, got another one with Vegeta. So yeah, always fun. Would you say it's worth it to learn C# outside of an engine to learn the skills further? I made a 2D platform, but feel I relied too much on the engine. My question to you is, why do you feel you relied on the engine, and why do you feel that is a negative thing? That is kind of the thing. I mean, usually when it comes to using an engine versus not using an engine, that is really a question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to make a game, or do you want to make a game engine? Because usually for most people, you can't really do both at the same time. You either focus on one or focus on the other. Make an engine or make a game. So if you want to make games, focus on making games. Use everything the engine has available to help you. That's the entire point behind an engine, is to make game making super easy, or as easy as it can be. So yeah, definitely use the tools at your disposal in order to make whatever game you're trying to make. But of course, if you're trying to do programming for fun as kind of a challenge, then yeah, maybe try making your own engine just for fun, just to learn about it. But do know that in most cases, unless you are super gifted, chances are you probably can't make a game and an engine at the same time. Let's go and complete the exercise. Let me just, this is, the window's a little bit odd. Why is it odd? I don't know. Like this. Okay. Oh boy, now I lost myself in the chat. Is there a chance of motion matching coming to Unity? I'm not sure what is motion matching, but just the other day I was doing my top 10 new systems and tools list, and I saw one that was really interesting. Oh god, yeah. Now finding it would be quite tricky, but oh god, because yeah, I saw one that looked really interesting. One, oh boy, because I got a ton of things, so that makes it quite a bit tricky in order to find it. So what was it? Is this one? Oh no, it's called motion warping. Yeah, this one seemed like a really fascinating, very interesting asset. So yeah, cookies. Yes, I accept cookies. So yeah, I don't know specifically what is motion matching, what does it mean, but yeah, there's a bunch of really impressive animation assets on the asset store. that apparently are really good for combining multiple animations to do all kinds of things. Those are really interesting. This is one thing that usually for me, in terms of animation, I really just stick with the bare bones, the absolute basics. So I've never touched really one of these complex animation controller type things. But yeah, that is definitely something that I would love to do. I mean, I would love to one day do some kind of tutorial / mini course on making a game kind of like Assassin's Creed. So something very much focused on animations and linking up different animations, linking up animation for some kind of attack where you got an attacker and defender and linking up both of those. So yeah, that is one of the things that I very much would like to do someday. Because I do know there are tons of these assets. So I assume the reason why there are assets is because it's usually really complicated to do, but with these assets, it should be relatively simple to do. So that should be pretty fun. That allowed me to code and learn C# at the same time. Oh, really? Are you talking about one of those hot reload assets? Because those are also really nice, really fun. That is one of the video topics that I would love to start doing again. Is pretty much doing more asset reviews, because there are so many awesome, so many useful assets on the store, but so many of them are really tricky to use. So I really enjoyed the videos that I've made. It's a visual script tool that converts to C#. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, converting from visual script. That was the goal behind Bone 2.0 before it eventually got killed or something. So yeah, that was that was interesting how they were going for Bone 2.0 in order to do some interesting things, but apparently pulled back. I haven't touched visual scripting in a while. I wonder how much it has progressed in the past few months. It should be interesting. Okay. So to go on this exercise, implement a simple recursive function. Oh, I gotta say, I really dislike recursion. I really dislike it, but I do know that some people, especially people who are into math, really like recursion. So that is why I covered it. I have a lecture on recursion over here in my course. But yeah, personally, I really dislike it. It always makes me more confused, needlessly confused. So yeah, personally for me, yeah, I'm definitely not into recursion, but yeah, it is something. I mean, if you don't like it, if you don't like math, then recursion can definitely be a nice thing. Okay, so let's make a recursive function. So do I return void? I think so. Recursive function. Now, in order to call it multiple times, let's just store an I variable. Okay, now, see, that's the thing. If I'm doing a for loop where I call this 3 times, then it's pretty simple. I just write it automatically. I don't even have to think about it. But in order to do this, I really got to think. So, okay, let me think. So, if I is 0, if so, then I'm just going to return. And if not, then I'm going to call recursive function with I minus minus. Is this it? I think that is it. Okay, I think that is it. So it passes in with 3. And if it is above that, it goes I minus minus, it passes in again. Okay, so I think it's like this. But again, recursion always confused me. I never know 100% if it is correct. From about procedural math generation will be fun. Yep, sure. One day. Oh boy. Yep, there you go. I just messed it up. Stack Overflow. Why did I? Isn't? Oh boy, recursion always drives me crazy. Yeah, why is it a Stack Overflow? Okay, now I'm a little bit confused as to why this one throws a Stack Overflow, because it should be... Isn't the I going down? Am I crazy? So let's see it. Talk about how to do proper research and when developing mechanics. I don't know, play similar games that have similar mechanics. And if you're trying to talk about... Oh boy, I think I just broke Unity. That's not nice. If you're talking about research, yeah, definitely play similar games that have similar... Oh, Jesus. Everything got messed up. Okay, stop playing, stop getting all messed up. Oh, Jesus. Where's my... I can't find it now. Sorry, I gotta hide the characters just so I can move it. Go up there. Why is it on 3? Is it always calling the... Oh, crap, that's not it. That one. Yeah, but basically for researchers, play similar games that have similar mechanics. Can you please not spam in chat? I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to answer things, so please. Anyway, so yeah, in order to do research mechanics, yeah, play similar games that have similar mechanics, and then try to do. So why I know that doesn't make sense. Yeah, basically play similar games that have similar mechanics. And yeah, then for making it, try making it piece by piece. So start making something really simple. So if you want to do some kind of hookshot mechanic, first figure out how do I find where am I hitting the mouse position. So first find that, then find out, okay, how do I push the player towards that? How do I make my character controller do that? Then figure out, okay, what happens when the player touches that? So really, research comes from seeing all kinds of games that do similar mechanics and figuring out, analyzing how those games implement those mechanics, and then how to actually develop them. That comes from learning how to do things step by step, trying to do all kinds of things. Oh, is it because of... Oh, that actually makes no sense. Okay, recursion really drives me crazy. My brain isn't working. Yeah, I think I minus minus will fix it, but that makes no sense. Yeah, I think, yeah, actually, never mind, yeah. Now I know why it makes no sense. Ah, god damn it. This is why I hate recursion. Because that's it, doing I minus minus breaks, doing I minus 1, this works. Because the issue is that it was decrementing the variable itself, but it was decrementing like before it calls a function with a parameter or something. Oh boy. Yeah, or doing I minus minus, that is always, oh boy. So this is a live example of why, oh no. And now my Unity just broke. So that's not nice. Oh boy. Yeah, turns out if you have a Stack Overflow amount of messages in the console, turns out everything breaks. So yeah, that is really not nice. All right. And why is my overlay is also a bit strange, isn't it? I don't know, it feels like sometimes messages show up and sometimes they don't. Let me just put that one like that. All right, so back in here, am I back on the same place? I think so. That's not the nested loop. Oh boy, because now I broke my I broke my exercise thing. But am I on the correct exercise scene? I don't even know. Yeah, it turns out if Unity breaks in the middle, that kind of messes things up. So, okay, let me just, or was I was on one of these, on rightness and loop? No, simple recursion, yeah, because did it save? Okay, it did save that, so at least that's good. But yeah. Okay, let me just try playing, see if now it does work. Got 0 iteration, expect, oh right, because I forgot to actually call it, so let me just exercise, validate, and yeah, okay. But yeah, for some reason I think my overlay might have died, which is a bit annoying because now I can only see that messages on the side. I got iteration 1, 2, and 3. And if that works. So yeah, all right. How do I find if I'm doing clean coding or not? I mean, it starts by making an effort in order to write good, clean code, and then it comes from your own experience of being able to identify what is good code, what is bad code, and being able to, as you learn that, you'll learn quite a bit more on what is good code, what is bad code. So over time, you become a lot better at being able to see code and being able to identify, am I doing this right? Or should I do this some other way that would work quite a bit better? So yeah, that really comes with experience. It's possible to learn how to code things in Unity the correct way without working at a studio. Sure, yeah, I mean, you can definitely learn Unity, you can learn all kinds of things just by yourself. I mean, nowadays the amount of information that you have available is really quite a massive amount, so that is something that is really awesome. So So yeah, although at the same time, every studio is going to have different things, different ways of working. Let me just change this, because I think this was broken. I don't know why. But yeah, every studio is going to have different things. So regardless of how much you learn by yourself, once you join some kind of studio, you're still going to need to... Oh boy, now it's printing all the messages. That's messed up. Yeah, once you join the studio, then you're going to have to adapt to whatever way they work on that studio, whatever things they do. Okay, let me just... Okay. So recursion is all about a function that calls itself. So in order to define a limit, you need to pass in all that data in the function parameters and do some kind of empty return when you want the function to end, when you want the function call stack to end. Yep, and now the complete text. So here you'll learn how to do simple recursion. If you are more of a math person, then doing recursion might be simpler than... Where's my overlays all messed up? Might be simpler than doing loops, although personally I find a lot more confusing, so I only tend to use loops. All right, yep, so recursion, definitely a complex topic. What is recursion? Recursion is when a function calls itself. So it's basically what I've got over here. I've got a recursive function, and note how this function is calling itself. And if it calls itself too many times, it leads to a Stack Overflow, which leads to a lot of messed up errors, a lot of problems, which, as you saw, eventually crashed my Unity. So when working with recursion, you got to be very careful about your end conditions. Like over here, the mistake that I had was instead of doing I-1, I was doing I-minus, which in turn was apparently calling this function with the previous value of I, and only updating the local variable after calling it. So that is why this thing was all messed up, and doing I-1, that does fix it. So yep, that is recursion. And except by doing that, it also messed up this, this part of the... Can I modify it? Nope. Oh boy, so that really messed things up. Oh no. Oh God. Okay. Oh no. I just... Am I still live? Is everything still working? Because, yeah, my overlay just crashed. And I don't even know. Did the live stream go down? Did it go down? Okay, no. OBS seems to be working. But, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, so I gotta... Let me just... I gotta fix that. You are still live. Okay, thank you. Because, yeah, that really... I don't know what happened with the live chat overlay, because it's the first time that it's got really messed up to the point where it pretty much broke. So I basically need to manually modify this one thing. So what time is it like that? Right. So let me just modify this and see if I can get it working again. So like this. And today is that. Okay, so let's see if like this, the overlay is working again. Okay, I think it might be working again, so I just need to make another build and hopefully it should be working. Right, so why is this going into the, oh right, because I created the nested loop and then did that and then that happened. Okay, so yeah, the nested loop and the other one is hopefully now working. So let me just start this up, put it on this monitor, and hopefully like this, it is working. Let me do a message myself and see if it shows up. Okay, my message does show up. Okay, so I still don't know what exactly went wrong, but Anyways, it should be working now, so that should be good. Okay, so where was I? I was on recursion. So I did that one. I did write the one on recursion, simple recursion. I did write the hint, write the completed text. So let's go into the next one. So the dictionary. Let's go on to this exercise. Okay. How do you secure your data when you are on social media? I am not sure what you mean by secure your data. I want to create similar content and see growth in a similar field. Are you talking about people copying things? I mean, usually you can't really prevent that. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you mean. I mean, technically right now, anyone can take videos from my channel and publish them on their channel. So technically there's really not much I can do about that. The only thing I can do that is be right here, continue making content, because if someone is copying me, they can only do the content that I've already done. So they can't do all the things that I'm going to do in the future. So they can technically copy my content, but they can't really copy my brain. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but yeah. Hey, in and out, hey, thanks for the super chat. When's the last time you wrote a C# program outside Unity? Do you like WPF? I always forget what that one stands for, but it's actually been a while. I mean, I've written some, what was the last thing that I did? I remember when I was like looking to buy something. I don't remember what I was going to buy, but I basically wrote a program in order to scrape a bunch of websites in order to find the price for some kind of item, something like that. So I did something where I had some kind of overlay that ran every time I opened up my desktop. It would check the price for something and then give me a message if it was under something. I don't remember what I used it for, but it was, yeah, I don't remember, but something like that. And another one that I did really interesting a very long time ago, that was like 7 years ago, was I made a bunch of programs that would basically scrape the homepage of Steam in order to find all the Steam new releases and find out how many reviews they had in order to find what games were finding success and coming out every day. So again, that was something that I made that run on every single time that I turned on my PC. It would run that program and it would show me some kind of window. Okay, so yesterday these 3 games came out which had more than 10 reviews. Then I could click on them, inspect them, and so on. So yeah, there was a bunch of time in which I was really focusing really hard on learning what exactly works on Steam, what doesn't work. And at that point, I built that little program in order to help me research. And that was actually it was surprisingly easy to make and quite valuable in order to learn how Steam works, what kinds of games were coming out. So yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. But yeah, usually when I make things in C# outside of Unity, usually when I make that, I basically just make them super basic console apps. Usually I don't do anything with kind of visuals. So it's been a very long time since I've used like WinForms and stuff like that. Usually I just make usually when I do things outside of Unity, I just want some kind of logic to run automatically. If I do want some visuals, then I will probably use Unity as opposed to building something like WinForms. So yeah, whether you want visual or not, that's usually how I handle things. Okay. Okay, so let me try doing this. What was the goal of this exercise? So the goal, create a dictionary of type resource type int and set goal to 5, width to 12, call exercise validate and pass in the dictionary. Okay, so over here, let's create a brand new dictionary. So we want to create a dictionary of type with the key resource type, and the other one is meant to be an int. So this is going to be resource amount dictionary, something like this. So let's, let's not wait for frame. That's strange. Is that it? Just creating it? Oh no, and then set goal to 5 and width to 12. So over here, let's go and set the on resource type dot gold, set that one to 5, and for wood, set that one to 12. And then call the exercise validate and pass in the resource amount dictionary. Okay, I think that is it. I'm from India, you are my game development mentor. I'm 14 years old. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I mean, I started learning programming by myself all alone when I was 10 years old. So yeah, if you're starting at 14, you're starting really great, really nice and young. So yeah, definitely take advantage of all the videos on YouTube, all the tutorials, all the free course, all the kinds of things. And yeah, if you are active in your own learning journey that early, then yeah, by the time you're 18, 20, you're going to be very knowledgeable, very successful. So yeah, I definitely wish you the best of luck. Continue on learning. Okay, waiting for dictionary, function was called. Gold does have 5, wood does have 12, and yep, that is correctly successful. So yeah, that's the exercise on how to define a dictionary. So let's do this one, write the hint in the text. Okay, so for this one, so what's a good hint? Remember the syntax for how to define a dictionary with key and value. Then remember how a dictionary is an object which needs to be constructed with new. Dictionary is an object, needs to be constructed with new. And in order to set values on certain keys, you access it like an array. Yep, that should be good enough in order to guide it. I think the biggest barrier on my game dev career is art. Yeah, that is definitely the exact same thing for me as well. So yeah, that is why for me, using the asset store has been really awesome. I definitely wish I had the asset store back when I was a kid. I mean, because I was making games that were relatively ugly, steampower.com, all because I really could not draw anything. So if I check out my first game, my Survivor Squad, visually it definitely looks very much subpar. I mean, to be honest, I'm very proud of what I managed to achieve given my extremely limited art skills. I'm really happy with the little characters. I do think those came out quite nice. I mean, I drew all that myself, which, I mean, for an artist, this is not impressive, but for myself, yeah, I'm definitely very happy with how I managed to build that. But yeah, look at how those pieces of glass, the glass itself is extremely simple. The sentry guns, I think they look really great, but they're also extremely simple, extremely basic. They're the weapons, the lights, all the things. And yeah, basically this, oh boy, the hand for that little smoker zombie thing. Yeah, that was, it's been a long time since I played it. So yeah, I definitely would like to play this game again, because it's been a very long time since I tried doing that. Because yeah, look at this, I drew all of this. So I drew those little beds, which look very strange. I drew the character, I made the animation, and yeah, but I also, you can obviously see how I drew those portraits by how super basic they are. So yeah, that was the extent, the limit of my art skills at the time. It was pretty much drawing it like this, which is definitely extremely basic, extremely simple. Look at that smoke. So yeah, basically when I made this back in 2013, back then I really wish I had the knowledge to be able to use the asset store, because I could have just come down here in order to find all kinds of really awesome sprites. So I could just combine my programming knowledge with some really awesome sprites, and the game probably would have looked quite a lot better. I mean, I'm still happy with how it came out, but it would have been quite a, look at this. It's got a bunch of top-down things. And quick tip, if you're making 2D games, you can also just buy 3D assets. These are 3D, meaning you can place the camera anywhere. So you can buy a 3D asset like this. And if you're making a top-down 2D game, just take the camera, move it upwards, take a screenshot, and boom. You've got a really awesome 2D assets to use in your top-down game. So yeah, it's if you know how to use the asset store, thankfully nowadays lack of art skills is not an issue. Or it is not an issue to the point of being limiting. So if you know how to use it, if you know the kind of game that you're going for, even if you have no art skills, you can still build something pretty awesome. Hey, look at that, a nice, cute custom character. Nice. Hey, thanks for making that. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, you can customize your own character. So you can draw a bunch of things. Just follow the instructions over here on this page. You can download this image, then you can draw on top of it. You can draw whatever character you want in either way you want. You can draw something as long as you draw on the correct points. You can draw whatever you want. And then, yep, then the character over here will look exactly like that. Okay, so let me do, where was I? Oh, right, he completed. So in this exercise, you learn how to create a dictionary. This is one of the most useful data structures you can use, especially in games, for things like inventories. Yep, dictionaries are actually really awesome. Having a key value pair is something that is useful in so many scenarios. It is really so very good, so very nice. Reminds me of an era. Flash games were really fun and great. Yeah, Flash really was awesome. It's a shame how nothing like Flash exists nowadays. I mean, of course, you've got things like Itch and so on, but yeah, Flash was just, it was a magical time. You could just download Flash, start making a simple game, upload it on Newgrounds, and boom, 500 people, 1,000 people were playing your game, giving you feedback. That was really something magical, something really awesome. Whereas nowadays, technically you have Itch, you can put up any game, but it's much trickier in order to get people to download your game, or if you make it a web game, then there's all kinds of limitations. Actually, I haven't used WebGL in quite a long time. Maybe I should look into that one. But yeah, basically, with Flash, there was pretty much no friction, nothing. Go onto a web page, downloads automatically, you start playing right away. You can play it, you can give feedback, do all kinds of things. So yeah, Flash was really awesome in how straightforward it was and how fast it was to both make games and get feedback for your games. I feel like the 5 years that I was working on Flash, and I made 40 games with it, those were really tiny games, but the fact that I made so many and I got so much feedback out of it, I feel like that really helped me improve my skills, both as a game developer and a programmer. So yeah, I do think that was really part of the reason why I have the skills that I have today. So yeah, it's really such a shame that nowadays you can't really get something excellent like that. You can do game jams, which I guess, I mean, there are pros and cons. There are a bunch of things that are much better nowadays than there were previously, but yeah, losing Flash was really, sadly, quite a negative thing. Create a stack and populate it with strings. So let's do a stack of type strings. So that's a string stack. And let's do one. Why is this one constantly doing that? Do a stack of string. And for my string stack, let's push, let's say the string Code Monkey. And then let's say the string Iron Man, just like that. Then what am I supposed to do? Oh, I think I was supposed to actually, let me see the exercise. Oh, yep, that was it. Code Monkey, Iron Man, and then Black Widow. Push those in order. So Black Widow. All right. There's my, where am I? One of my windows. Oh, no, it's there. Okay, good. I have macOS. Why can't I resize the Unity interface? Really? It doesn't? Huh. I'm sorry, I have no idea. I mean, you go onto Unity preferences, and in theory, over here, I don't even remember where it is. UI scaling. So in theory, over here, you should be able to modify it. So don't you see this menu at all on Mac? If not, then yeah, I wonder if it is possible. Or maybe Mac is just based on the desktop setting. So maybe you have to go on the Mac desktop setting and modify that. It seems strange that it wouldn't work at all, especially because Macs have so many resolutions. So yeah, sorry, I don't know. If you don't see this menu, if it doesn't work, then yeah, I really, really don't know. Hey, I love your videos. Hey, I love you for watching them. So yeah, thanks for being here and watching the videos. Hope you're having a great Friday. Okay, so let's play. And thanks again, and now for the super chat. All right. Checking the stack count 3, expected 3, so yep, that is correct. Trying to pop it with Black Widow, like expected, Iron Man, and Code Monkey. So yep, that is it. That is how you handle a stack, which is another interesting collection type. One that I rarely use myself, but if you do need to use some kind of stack of papers or things, then stack can be quite nice. So over here, remember how a stack is created, how it uses the stack type inside angled brackets. Then remember how stack, then remember the functions to add elements to a stack. Remember the function to add elements onto a stack, which is not add, which is not named add. Okay, so here you learn how to create and work with a stack. This can be a useful data structure when you need to, always remember, when you need a, what is a stack? The stack is, I always forget. It's a file collection, right? First in, last out. That's it, right? Because I push, pop. Yeah, it's a file, yeah. yeah, this can be a useful data structure when you need a follow collection, first in, last out. So yep, that is pretty much it. Use stacks for generating a procedural path. Oh, really? Oh, that's actually interesting. That's a nice use case. Yeah, you can pretty much just push, okay, go here, then here, then here, then here. And yeah, then you can reverse the stack and then pretty much just pop each individual step. Oh, that's nice. That's a cool one. That's a great use case. Nice. Okay, let's complete the exercise like that. When will Unity 6 be released? As far as I know, I believe they said by the end of this year. So if I had to guess, I would guess around the same time as the Unite conference, which I believe usually happens September, October, November. So that is probably going to be, so I would probably assume either shortly before that or exactly on that. So by the end of this year, that's pretty much it. Then also an interesting comment. What's your thoughts on Dev and AI? And I actually have a video exactly on that topic coming out later. Can I even? Yeah, so definitely stay tuned for this video. And right away by the title, you can see what's my thoughts on Dev and AI. So yeah, basically this is the video coming out. What time is it? 5:41. So yeah, in about 20 minutes, yeah, I'm gonna end the live stream shortly before that. So after that, go ahead and watch just a quick video, just because I saw some people were really scared about this AI, thinking, okay, this is the end of programmers or software developers, software engineers, all of this. And the reality is really not quite like it. It's really one of those things where the hype is really insane and the reality is quite a bit different from the hype. So basically the Primogen and Theo made some really interesting videos on that. So basically over here, I just give my super quick take on it. Just don't worry about it, but then definitely watch these videos in order to get more detail on why exactly it isn't exactly like it seems on their marketing material. So yeah, definitely an interesting topic. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for this video coming out in about 20 minutes. So let me quickly do a bunch more exercises so that I can do that. Okay, so the stack, I wrote this one. Let's go into the next one. So that's the other collections, function params. Let's do this exercise. Is there a way to visualize the audio waves in a Unity game just like in an audio editor? Huh, that's a good question. I don't know, because I'm not very experienced with audio, but if you go onto the audio listener, maybe it does have some kind of function in order to get that, but I actually don't know. Get output data, get spectrum data, maybe that could be it. The array to populate with audio samples, the channel to sample from, and I have no idea what is an FFT window. So audio listener, get output data, get spectrum. Okay, but yeah, it does seem like it is exactly that. So I mean, it's doing debug.drawLine, so I assume this is going to draw the spectrum of whatever the audio listener is trying to get. So yeah, that's a very interesting question. I've never tried making an audio visualizer, but apparently with this function, you can probably do something similar to that. At least this code seems to be quite like that. Yeah, that would be a fun thing to build, a little audio visualizer. Or you could also do all kinds of logic on that. So if the audio really spikes, maybe spawn an enemy, some kind of monster, some kind of thing. So that could be a fun mechanic to work on in some kind of horror game. That could be interesting. Okay, let me do a few more because I don't got much time left. So let's do this. So this exercise, write a function to add any numbers. So write a function, add numbers that has a params parameter for ints and returns the total sum of all of them. Okay, so that should be pretty simple. So this one returns the sum. So int, add numbers. And now inside it, I want to have an int array, a params int array. It's params, right? This one is not the... Yeah, it's on the function params, not the optional ones. So numbers array, and let me do an int for result, starting off at 0, return the result, and then for each int number in the numbers array, for each of this, result plus equals the number. Okay, I think that should do it. So if you add numbers, adds the numbers, results, adds each of them, so it should work. Let's see. morning. I just started my son on your Unity class. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Somewhere he messed things up. He is at the animation steps. Oh, I mean, if it gets really messed up to the point where the project is broken, you can download the... I assume you're talking... Oh boy, my voice is already messed up. I assume you're talking about the Kitchen Chaos course. So if so, on that one, you can go onto the course website and you can download the project files for each specific thing. So over here, if you go on to... that's not the link. That's the link. Over here on this one, you've got all the lectures, and on each of them, you can download the project files at that point. So if things get messed up to the point where there's no coming back, that's not a problem. Just come here, download the project files, and continue following on from that. But yeah, really awesome how you're going through with your son. That's really cool. Continue doing that. Yeah. All right. Looking at it, did find it does have the params corrector. It calls it 1, 2, 3, and yep, it is correct. Yep. So that's how you make a function to add any number of numbers, I guess. Okay, so on this one, let's write the hint. So the hint, the syntax for using params is like any other parameter type, except it must be an array type. In this case, an array of int. Okay, that should do it. And for the adding logic, just a simple for or for each loop, cycling through all the elements and adding them together. Let me just put for and for each like this. Is that? I don't know. So here you'll learn how to define a params parameter, which allows a function to take in any number of parameters, which can be really useful when you have some logic that you want to work with any number of parameters. That's cool. So the params keyword, which is actually surprisingly useful. So let's see, add numbers, and let's go and complete the exercise. All people running around bottom. Yeah, those are the people chatting right now. So yeah, basically it's working with the YouTube API. So if you want to know how this little overlay works, I actually covered a bunch of tutorials at the bottom of this page. So if you go on there, yep, if you want to figure out how to make this, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's basically a transparent Unity window. This is running on top of my desktop. Then for the characters, the way they are animated, these are mesh-based animations. And the way it's talking with the YouTube API is by doing an HTTP request from inside Unity. And then the characters, the way they are randomized with all kinds of colors and shapes. That's really the same system that I use in my game, Battle Royale Tycoon, for making all kinds of characters. Let's live streams. Oh, nice. Live streams, and we'll have to follow along for more. All right, that's cool. Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, I definitely would like to do live streams a bit more regularly, because it's every time I do them, I enjoy them. It's always nice chatting to people directly. So yeah, definitely something that I would like to do more often. But as you can see from my voice, I'm really not the kind of person who can do live streams for long. So it's been what, about 1 hour, and yeah, my voice is already quite messed up. So yeah, I would like to do them more often. So shorter, but more often. So pretty much just 1 hour live stream, like 2 times a week. I think that would be a fun little schedule. That would be fun. Okay, so this exercise, call the function set a player, but only pass in the player name parameter, something other than null, and the player health, something other than 2. Okay, so this one is the lecture on optional parameters. And yeah, so call the setup player function, and the goal is passing the player name, something other than null. So let's pass in the player name. So something other than null, okay. So I pass in that one and the player health. So player health, something other than 0. So like this, so yeah. In case you don't know this syntax, this is how you can set up optional parameters. You can call the parameters in any order as long as you specifically specify exactly what parameter name it is. So use the parameter name, then a colon, and then whatever value you want to call. So note how down here, this function, this one has all these parameters defined as optional parameters. That is why they have the little equals. These are optional parameters. And they're defined like this. So vector3 for the player position, then the health, and then the player name. But if you use the name for the parameters, if you use this, then you can actually call the parameters out of order. So that is why over here I'm calling the player name and then the player health. And yep, this is perfectly valid code. So it should work like that. Let's go. Okay, setup player has been called. That one was left as default. That one was set. That one was set. Yep, success. All right, so that's really cool. So that's a lecture on the call optional parameters. So the hint on this one, remember the syntax for calling optional parameters. You write the parameter name, then a colon, then the value. With this, you can even call parameters out of order. So that's fun. So here you'll learn how to call optional parameters and how to call them out of order. Hey, new member, nice. And how to call them out of order. This can be great sometimes for making the code more readable since you write the parameter name when calling the function. All right, good. Hey, new member, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw this little pop-up here. So yeah, Major Blue 7, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Thanks. Thanks for all the work you put through your tutorials. Nice. Hey, thanks, Ricardo. Yeah, I'm glad people like the tutorials, and as long as people like the tutorials, I will continue making them. So yeah, thanks for watching them. I really hope the tutorials have helped you a lot. And yep, I do plan to continue doing this for many, many years. So yeah, hopefully if you want to continue making games for a long time, hopefully you can join me on this journey so we can all make games together for the next 50 years. That's pretty much my goal. So yeah, if you want to join me, definitely join me. Okay, let's complete this exercise. I never created the video on HFSM for player controller. I don't know what you mean by that. Hierarchical state machine? Is that what you mean? Hierarchical finite state machine. I assume that's what you mean. I've used a bunch of state machines, but usually for me, I use state machines like the most basic thing possible. So yeah, for me, if you want to make a, did he make, I think he made a really awesome video. I heart gamedev. I think he made a really awesome video on state machine. Yeah, there you go. Nikki made a bunch of really awesome videos on programming Unity state machines, making a better state machine. So yeah, if you want to learn about state machines, like more complex state machines, definitely check out his videos. The videos are really awesome, really detailed, really excellent editing. I'm always amazed every time he makes a brand new video. It's always really excellent, really nicely edited. So yeah, if you want some really complex state machines, yeah, and there's this one from 2 years ago. I don't remember what is the differences between them, but yeah, definitely watch both of them. Really awesome. So if you want to dive really deep onto state machines, I can definitely recommend these videos. Really awesome. Okay, so where was I? So the optional parameters, I did finish that one. Okay, let's see, what time is it? Oh, 54, because I got to make sure to finish the live stream by 6 p.m. Otherwise it might mess up actually, I don't know if because I think I did that once, like I published the video and then finished the live stream afterwards, and I think that really messed things up. So that is why I didn't want things to be messed up right now, but I don't know, maybe I'll go for like 5 minutes more and then see what happens with the analytics. I don't know. Let's see. Either way, let's go on to the next one. Where was I? Value versus reference types. Another extremely important topic. Very important. Watching your Kitchen Chaos course, and I'm almost done. What can I do after? Copy all the games, watch the C# course, create simple games. I would definitely say that you can make some kind of simple game or build upon it in some way. That is what I would say. So basically try to modify things. And, oh God, what was the... what did I title it? My game better? No. Oh, crap. I can't remember the title. If I just search for kitchen cows, it might show up. Basically, there was a developer who, yep, took my game and took the game from the kitchen cows course and basically built upon it and made something completely different. So yeah, I would definitely encourage you to do something like this. So pretty much take that as a base and build upon it, do something. So as you can see over here, there's all kinds of new visuals, all kinds of new items. There's a bunch of things that have there's a bunch of, there's like cooking eggs. There's there was tips from the customers. The customers actually show up and so on. So yeah, I would definitely encourage you to do something like that, like the yeah. I would encourage you to continue building upon it. I think that's the best way to do it. Just try to, since you should be, if you fully understood everything in the kitchen chaos course, you should be very familiar with that code base. So hopefully that should allow you, in order to actually build things upon it, in order to really modify things and figure out how things work when you modify them. That's really one of the best ways to work. So one of the best ways to learn is learn by doing. So definitely make sure you modify some things to see what happens, what changes, and the more modifications you make. So if you were to make something like this, so pretty much still the same genre, so you use the same base, but you build something very different on top of it. Doing that is a really great way, a really great learning exercise that will definitely improve your skills quite a bit. I think the member notification should be short. Yeah, this one is, it's basically manual. So basically it shows up here, and yeah, and sometimes there's another one, there's another button to queue, but yeah, thanks so much for becoming a member. Nice. How can I get access to these exercises? These are part of the premium version of the course. So yeah, if you have that, you can download the companion project, which is this entire project, which contains all of this. Okay, so let's do this exercise. Let's see, what is the goal? Edit the second parameter on the function to what matches the score inside each object. Note what the modify score function does. Okay, so this should be a simple one. So basically there's a struct, which is a value type, and a class, which is a reference type, and then constructing a brand new struct, brand new class, and calling the function to modify it. That one just sets the score to that. And basically, in order to modify here, is it going to be 5, the initial value, or is it going to be 12? Now, in this case, structs are value types, meaning they are passed in as copies. So if you modify a copy inside of it, it is not going to modify it. So over here, this one is going to remain with 5. But classes, these are reference types, so it is going to modify just like that one. And if you have no idea what I just said, definitely watch my video on structs versus value types versus reference types. If you don't know what those two are, you definitely need to learn them, because those are really important things to know. Because if you don't know and you're working sometimes with something that is a copy, you will go quite insane because you don't know why something isn't modifying, and the answer is because you're working with a copy as opposed to the original data. So exercise validate 5, 5, 12, 12, and yep, that is a success. So let's write the hint and the completed. So completed, remember the differences between value types and reference types. How if you pass in a value type onto a function, you pass in a copy. So if you modify that value inside that function, you are modifying the copy value and not the original value. So yep, that is the big difference between value types and reference types. Okay, so here you learned the difference between value and reference types and how they behave very differently, especially when passed then as a parameter onto a function. Yep, just like that. All right, that was cool. Nice. Difference between functions and methods. Really, the exact same thing. Technically, in C#, the technical correct term is methods, but I don't know. I don't like the I don't like the word methods. I don't know. It feels strange. So yeah, for me, I call them functions. But in C#, technically, a function is a method. So yeah, but it's really just a name thing. If you tell anyone I wrote a C# function, they know exactly what you mean. If you say I wrote a C# method, they also know what you mean. So yeah, really just different words that people use interchangeably. A video tutorial on importing 3D assets and maybe some sites where to get them for free or Blender if you use it. I did make a video just like that on, or rather about animations rather than things, but yeah, pretty much the same thing. So if you want some free characters and free animations, I highly recommend you look into Mixamo. It's a really awesome website where you can get all kinds of free characters and animation. I think you need to log in, yeah, okay. But yeah, you can get characters and animations, so if you want something simple, this is great. If not, then of course, the asset store. I mean, you can just go browse the asset store. So for example, let's go into one of these menus, disable this. Okay, so the asset store has 93,000 results. And now you can go over here into pricing, put it on free assets, and boom, there you go. You got almost 9,000 assets for free. So you got free skyboxes, free 2D packs, free 3D environments. You got free tools. You got more low poly assets, some high resolution textures. You've got some characters, third-person controllers, a bunch of sounds, sound effects, more skyboxes, more characters, even a really nice Cinti Studios asset, which, by the way, just in case you need some assets, something that I mentioned on the other on the last video, which it's already 6, so I gotta go see that one. But yeah. Basically, if you like Cinti style, then there's right now a really awesome bundle. So for 25 bucks, you can get tons of assets to do all kinds of things. Personally, I really love this one. Every time I see this one, it makes me want to make a game kind of like 300, because there's one part right here that has some really awesome Spartans really flying around. Look at this. Right there. Look at that. Doesn't that look really awesome? So yeah. Every time I see this pack, it makes me want to make some kind of... Already bought it. Hey, I hope you put it to good use, because it's a really awesome pack, really tons of assets, and there's a bunch more stuff for zombies and so on. So yeah, basically, if you want free stuff, I would recommend you just go onto the Unity Asset Store and browse. There's a mountain of free stuff. And if you like low poly assets, for 25 bucks, there's a pretty excellent bundle. I already have pretty much most of these, but if I didn't have, yeah, I would definitely be picking this up and doing all kinds of prototypes in all of these interesting ones. Actually, a while ago, we were talking about, someone asked about a farming game. So yeah, this is when there was another bundle. This was, I don't know, like 2 years ago? 22, so yeah, 2 years ago. So when this happened, I took a bundle like that and I made a bunch of interesting videos. So I made an interesting RTS using a sci-fi pack. I made a nice farming minigame with a farming pack and made a nice taxi driver game using the city pack. So yeah, definitely you can pick up that bundle and then you can watch that video to see all the kinds of things you can build with it. So yeah, it's if you want to build some fun prototypes this weekend, then yeah, hey, that sounds like a great way to use your weekend. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, create a struct. Let's do 1 or 2 more, and then yeah, I gotta stop talking for a little bit because my voice is already pretty messed up. Okay, create a struct. So the goal is to define a struct named world position with int x and y fields, then define a field of that type. On start, create an object of that type with x1, y2, and assign it to the field. Okay, so let's do exactly that. So first define a struct. That is pretty simple. So a public struct named world position, and now inside it, I want a public int x and a public int y. Y. Okay, then define a field of this type. So world position, and now over here, let's create a brand new object. And let's assign it the x equals 1 and y equals 2. Yep, exactly. Just like that. Let's say they use them to make a bunker idea for a game. Oh, that's cool. What, something like Fallout Shelter? That is a game that I've seen many times and I've wanted to play many times, but I still haven't been able to do it. But yeah, I would love to make a game kind of like Fallout Shelter, so something where it's side view, seeing all kinds of bunkers, all kinds of things, and being able to interact and do all kinds of management and all the things. I think that is a fun genre. So yeah, that's definitely a game that I would like to make. That would be a fun one. Okay, so define a struct, define a field, and assign it, create it like that. Yep. Drink ginger tea with honey. I've been trying. Oh shit. Okay, I just messed myself up. I didn't know this still had liquid. Oh boy. Okay, that wasn't intended. Oh, crap. All right, anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, I've been trying all kinds of teas, but honestly, it doesn't really help. Like, I drink tea, and my voice still gets messed up after 1 hour of talking. So I don't know if that just means that I just need to pretty much train my voice a little bit more. I don't know, but yeah, for me, whatever I do, it does not seem to work. Anyways, okay, let's sit and play and see how this works. I'm managing full-time job in game development. That's definitely quite tricky. I mean, doing game dev on the side or doing game dev with kids or so on, yeah, that definitely becomes quite a bit more difficult. But it can be done. I mean, for example, where was he? Oh, for example, over here, Nikki from I Heart Game Dev. I mean, he makes a ton of really excellent tutorials, and he does have a software engineer job. So he does have a normal job and then does video tutorials on the side. So he could also do that, make games instead. Then there's DevDuck, who has been working on his RPG for like 5 years now, working alongside a job. So technically it can be done, but it definitely requires quite a bit more managing your own time. That is, yeah. Managing is a strong word, clinging to life. Yeah, it's definitely game dev on hard mode, trying to do everything at once. Yeah, that is, I can definitely feel that. Okay, so this one is working. Where is Danny? Good question. I don't know. All right, so yep, this one did work. Success. So let me just write the hint and so on. And then, yeah, I think I'll do one more and then that's it. Okay, so define a struct. So remember how structs are very similar to classes, just with the struct keyword. Then define a field of that type, just like a class, and construct it also just like a class. So here you learn how to define a struct. This is very similar to a class, but remember the one big difference, how structs are value types, whereas classes are reference types. Yep, that's the one big difference between them. And let's complete the exercise. Do you think it's possible to make an audio editor in Unity? Audio is really one of the main things that I really don't know much about, so I'm definitely not the best person to answer that because I'm not entirely sure what does audio editor mean. But yeah, I mean, in Unity you can do all kinds of things with audio clips. Unity audio clip. You can just see all the functions that it has. You can get the channels, frequency, and so on. So yeah, I don't know much about audio, but if you can get the data, get the sample data from the audio, and you can set the data, then I assume if you combine these two, you could build some kind of interface where you can connect things together in order to be able to make cuts, in order to be able to modify things and so on. So yeah, technically I do think it is possible. And also Unity also has a audio mixer. So if you want to do some kind of complex audio mixing, like I said, I'm not an audio expert. I've only used the absolute basics, but I do know the audio mixer is very powerful with lots of things. So, yep. Are you going to GDC? No, sadly no. It would be fun. I would like to, but yeah, it's pretty much on the other side of the world, so that makes it for a very expensive trip. So yeah, sadly no. But yeah, I will be at home watching the keynote. I assume they're going to do some kind of keynote, or maybe not. Actually, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it until right now, but yeah, if they do some kind of keynote, I will definitely be listening to it. I will be watching all the talks if they have any, and then doing some kind of summary video. So nope, sadly not going to be there physically, but yep, I will definitely try to do some kind of news on all the kinds of things that they might announce there. How's your dogs doing? They're sleeping very carefully, very peacefully. So yeah, let them sleep. Okay. Ever thought of hosting your own community game jam? I have, but then I remember just how much effort it takes to organize that whole thing. And then I remember, okay, that would be a fun idea, but I'm already insanely busy with work. So adding a really insane event on top, that would be quite tricky. So definitely something that I would like to make at some point. But yeah, figuring out all the logistics to make that work and make it work properly, that is quite difficult. So Maybe someday, but definitely not planning anytime soon. Okay, let me do one more. Okay. So, lecture on class intermediate, basic inheritance. So the goal is to define a base unit class with a getSpeed function that should return 3, then define an enemy class that inherits from unity, and then define a player class that inherits from unit and should override the getSpeed to return 5. Okay, so let's do exactly that. So this is pretty simple. So define a unit class, okay. Then it should have an int getSpeed, and by default, this one should return 3, okay. Then define a enemy class, and this one should inherit from unit, and just like this, nothing else. And then define a player class, and this one also inherits from unit, except for this one needs to override, so this one needs to be marked as virtual. So for this one, let's override the getSpeed function, and this one should return 5. Okay, that's it. Pretty simple. So this exercise teaches you about inheritance. Let's run and see if it does work. Let's see. Okay, it did find the unit class, the enemy class, the player class. The enemy does inherit. It did find it, calling it on unity, get that, and it got that. So that is really cool. That worked. All right, nice. Inheritance is always a tricky thing. It has many ways to go wrong, but when it goes right, it's actually quite fun. Okay, so that's this one, right? Basic inheritance. So the hint. Remember the syntax for inheritance. First, you define a base class, then define the, what do I call it? Oh boy, what is the name? The extended class? No, then define the other classes and extend the base class with colon base class. In order to provide a different implementation for some function, the base function needs to be marked as override and no, not override, virtual. As virtual, and the in the, oh, what do you call it? Extended function? I don't know. Extended function needs to be marked as override. Just over here needs like that. So here you'll learn how to implement basic inheritance, where you have a base class and then classes that extend that base class and override some logic to provide a different implementation. Yep. Okay. That's it. How are you checking the code? Are you using reflection or checking the code itself by reading raw text? The answer is both. It depends on the exercise. Some of them do read the text itself as if it's just basic text, but yeah, most of it is, where's the, right here, but most of it is actually indeed by using all kinds of reflection. So for example, on this one, the goal of the exercise is to define a unit class and define an enemy class that extends unit and a player class that extends it and has this function. So yep, over here I'm using all kinds of reflection. So going into the type of exercise to get the nested type of type unit. So I get the unit type, the enemy type, and the player type, and then just checks if all of those types actually exist. And if it does find them, then all of this is correct. Then it checks if the enemy type is a subclass of unit type. If so, then yep, it means that the enemy correctly inherits. Then same thing for the player type, check that it does inherit. Then using the get method in order to get the function called getSpeed. So if it finds that one, then this one is not going to be null, so it does find that one, and then checks the return type for that method. And over here, the complex thing about having to create an instance of a unit object, learning how to do this was actually quite tricky. I must say I had not used reflection as much as I had to do by making this course, so this was a fun learning challenge for me. So having to create a brand new object in order to invoke it, pass in an object reference and so on, in order to get the return type. So passing in a unit object and then a player object, calling it on that, and so on. So yeah, basically it's all reflection. It's all actually a pretty fun thing. Learning how to do all this, how to do reflection, to build all these interactive exercises, that was actually quite an interesting thing. And yeah, in the end, it does work great. Okay. What time is it? Yeah, 6:15. Okay, so I think that's gonna be it. Let me just go and okay, so that one is done. All right, good. Okay. I do want to learn how to make a pinball game that is physics-based and colliders. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Although physics is usually a little bit of a headache, so I wish you the best of luck with that. Because yeah, making a game where the game design relies on physics, that is always always has quite a lot of headaches. So that is always quite tricky. But yeah, definitely best of luck with that. Should be interested in doing how to make a functional file manager inside Unity. Wow, that's a tricky one. I mean, it's not tricky. It's actually relatively simple, but it is very laborious, let's say, in order to be able to do that. I mean, it takes all kinds of scroll bars, learning how to populate it, but populating it's actually relatively simple. But yeah, it's actually, it's one of those things that is simple to do, but requires a ton of work. So yeah, it would be a fun challenge. So if you have some time, definitely do that. But if not, I'm pretty sure you can find some kind of file manager on the asset store. Well, actually, no. Wow, that's, oh, because it's all free. Okay. Okay, yeah. I thought it was a little bit strange how it didn't have any, but yeah, having a file dialog, file manager, and so on. So yeah. Yeah, but if you want to do a fun programming challenge, yeah, I would definitely encourage you to do that. Learn how to make a file manager. It's relatively straightforward and actually pretty fun to do. Should be nice. So yeah. C# course is really helpful for me watching from India. That's cool. That's awesome. Definitely go ahead and watch it. Take your time and go through it step by step. Do you recommend building a high-end PC for game development? Love your channel. Oh, nice. The answer is for PC specs, it really depends on what kinds of games you're making. So if you're making something like Flappy Bird, you really just need the bare bones basics. You really don't need anything special. But if you're trying to make something like PUBG, you definitely need something very intense. So yeah, the specs really depend on what kinds of games you're trying to make. But if you're making quote-unquote simple games, like the kinds of games that I make, then yeah, pretty much anything doesn't need to be super high-end, especially not a super high-end graphics card, unless, of course, you're going for that. But for me, usually my games are very simple on the graphics front. So yeah, for me, usually don't really need a high-end PC. Just something basic works actually quite great. But your turn-based strategy course, your C# course will be cheaper or some discounts. Yeah, over time I will increase discounts. I mean, right now I'm still focused on really polishing up the rest of the intermediate, and I still got to build the entire advanced section. But yeah, over time I will be doing more and more discounts on the course. So yeah, and either way, if you can't afford it, then definitely check out the free video on the beginner C# course. And on that one, I talked about my plan was if the course sells 100 copies, I'm going to make the intermediate version for free within a month. And it hasn't already passed that. So within next month, what time is it? We're in mid-March. So yeah, by the beginning of April, you can look forward to the intermediate section of the course to be free over here on YouTube. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, so basically, even if you can afford it, I want to make sure you can still learn. So yep, that is why you've got this one. Then stay tuned for the next one. All right, so I think that's gonna be it. So this one, I do think this one worked great. So yeah, it's already 6:20. So yeah. And yep, the code is working. Exercise completed. It does say the correct message. It does have the hints and so on. All right, so yeah, I think that's gonna be it. That should be like that. Like I said, I would like to make live streams a bit more regularly. Just make them about 1 hour, because yeah, my voice is already messed up. I definitely can't go any longer. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Let me just complete the exercise, and everything over here is done. So yeah, definitely. And like I was saying a while ago, definitely go watch the video, which is actually out right now. So the video on Don't Be Afraid of Devin, just in case you're seeing some news on Twitter and you're a little bit scared, definitely go watch this video, which should be, yeah, it was published 20 minutes ago. So go watch that and don't worry too much about it. But anyways, okay, so that's gonna be it for me. Let me just go on, turn on the background. Let me put, where's my OBS? There's my OBS. All right, so yeah, so that's it for me. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great weekend. All right, so bye everyone. See you next time. Bye. Thank you. Bye.